In the past, when gathering with his disciples, Jesus often used everyday stories to teach about God's love and mercy. He knew that people are easily misled, easily seek joy in fleeting things, but find it difficult to recognize the lasting love of the Father in heaven. And that day, he told a touching parable about a kind father and his two sons. There was a father who was very rich, gentle, and loved his children very much. He had two sons. The older brother was hard-working, often staying at home, working in the fields. The younger brother was hot-tempered, loved freedom, and liked to live his own way. One day, the younger son came to his father and said, "Father, please give me my share of the inheritance." The father was silent, but he did not refuse. He still divided the inheritance between his two sons because his love was a love of respect and freedom. The younger son gathered everything and left home, going to a strange land. At first, his life was filled with laughter and drunkenness. He spent money lavishly through lavish parties, bought luxuries, and lavished money on friends. People around him sang, drank, and danced all night long. The younger son thought he had found true happiness. He wore bright robes glittered with gold and silver and was always surrounded by servants. But it was all an illusion. When the money ran out, the banquet fell silent, and those who had once cheered him turned away. He was left alone, empty, and bitter. Then a famine came to the land. The younger son was penniless. He had to work as a hired hand tending pigs for others. He was so hungry that he wanted to eat the pods the pigs were eating, but no one gave him any. He thought of his beloved home of his father, who had gently called his name, and tears welled up in his eyes. In his misery, he said to himself, "I will go back to my father and say, 'Father, I have sinned against heaven and against you. I am no longer worthy to be called your son. Please treat me like a servant.'" So he stood up and trudged on the way back. Although his body was emaciated and his clothes were torn, he still longed to see his father again. While he was still far away, his father recognized him. Every day he looked back on that road, hoping that one day his beloved son would return. And then that moment came. The father could not help but run out, hugged his son, and kissed him in tears. The son knelt down and confessed his sins. "Father, I have sinned against heaven and against you. I am no longer worthy to be called your son." But the father did not scold him. He called his servants to bring the best robe and put it on him, put a ring on his hand and sandals on his feet. He commanded, "Bring out the fatted calf and make a feast, because this son of mine was dead and is alive again. He was lost and is found." The whole house was filled with music and joy spread. The neighbors all heard the news and came to join in the celebration. That feast was not only a family feast, but also a feast of forgiveness and love. The older son was angry and did not want to attend the feast. He blamed his father. "I have served you for all these years and never disobeyed your command. Yet you never gave me a young goat so that I could celebrate with my friends. But the other son, who has been living a wasteful life, has come back, and you have killed the fatted calf for a feast." The father kindly replied, "My son, you are always with me, and all that I have is yours. But we must rejoice because your brother was dead and is alive again. He was lost and is found." Jesus ended the story so that his disciples would understand that God is a merciful Father who always waits for us to return. Even if we go astray, fall, and live far from our Father's house, His love will never change.